So over the years, I've seen tax sale investors make some extremely expensive mistakes. Today, I want to share a few of those mistakes with you, so hopefully you can avoid making the same ones. First off, before we get started, my name is Casey Dimon. I'm a tax sale investor. I've been investing in tax default real estate for more than 23 years now. I am the host of the Tax Sale Podcast. Now, if you have been listening for any amount of time, you already know there's incredible opportunity in the tax sale business. But here's the truth. There are also some very, very expensive mistakes that I've seen investors make over and over again. And I don't mean small mistakes like forgetting to bring a pen to the auction. I mean mistakes that can cost you thousands, if not tens of thousands of dollars and set your business back years and years. So today, I want to share the 5 most expensive mistakes that I see tax sale investors make, and more importantly, how you can avoid them. Let's get right to it. Mistake number 1 is surface level research. It's the number 1 mistake that I see investors make. They look at a tax sale list. Maybe they Google the property or they check a quick map and they call it good. The problem is it's not research. That's skimming. Real research means digging into the property records, looking at the tax assessor's page, looking at GIS, running all your comparables, looking at things like zoning, access, liens. It means learning everything possible about the property. Oddly enough, there is no risk at all in this business if you do that. The only risk is self-induced risk when you fail to do what is required when it comes to due diligence. You know, a $2,000 mistake at an auction could have easily been avoided with an extra 2 or 3 minutes worth of research for most people. Mistake number 2, ego bidding. This one happens at nearly every live auction I've ever attended. 2 investors, they lock eyes, and suddenly it's not about the property, it's about winning at all costs. I've even told this story before about a guy that I knew that overbid on a property. And when I asked him why he paid so much after the auction, he nodded at his competing bidder and said, because I didn't want him to win. The problem is when your ego takes over, your calculator shuts off. You stop thinking about return on investment and you start thinking about beating the other guy or the other girl. And I can tell you right now, winning the bid is not the same thing as winning the deal. Ego bidding is one of the fastest ways to overpay and to lose money in this business. It's also incredibly stupid. Mistake number 3, no strategy. Too many investors show up with money in their pocket but no clear plan. They're just there to kind of see what happens and buy something that they feel they can make money on. That's a recipe for disaster. Without a clear strategy, you will end up buying properties that don't fit your predefined goals. Maybe you wanted to buy something you could resell very, very quickly, like next week or the following week, but then you realize you paid too much for it, and now you have to clear the title and sell it through a realtor, and that's going to take months and months, and you don't have access to the capital that you needed to use. Or maybe you could buy something that looked like a deal on paper, but there's just no buyer demand for it in that market. Your strategy should guide you on what to bid on, how much you're willing to pay, and how you'll exit the deal. And that needs to be established prior to the auction. No strategy equals no success. It's as easy as that. Mistake number 4, ignoring title issues. It's a very expensive mistake that I see a lot of people do, especially the newer investors. They assume that when they buy a tax foreclosed property, they can turn right around and sell it. The reality is most tax deeds, nearly all tax deeds, come with clouded titles. And this is something I learned the hard way when I first got into this business. The title company called me and they said, this property has a clouded title. We cannot close it with title insurance. My buyer walked, I was out the profit, and I had to sit for another few months as we went through the suit to quiet title process. That actually shocked me quite a bit at the time because it was money that I was relying on to run my business. If you don't account for the time and the cost of clearing title, you will be stuck holding a property you can't finance, you can't insure, and you might not be able to sell for full market value. Now, there are some strategies that allow you to sell the property with an as-is clouded title at a discount, but of course you need to factor that stuff in from day number 1, pre-auction. Mistake number 5, overestimating property values. I've seen people use the Zillow Zestimate, or they look at one comp and they decide they scored a heck of a deal, or they'll compare their house to the active listings that they see on somewhere like realtor.com. The problem here is tax sale properties don't compare to regular listings. They're often in disrepair, they've not been maintained at all, many need substantial work, and they just aren't comparable to properties that you see on the open market on a regular basis. People fail to take the time to properly value properties. They want that easy button of just looking at a number on the screen that Zillow or Realtor.com or Troya pops out and says the property is worth that. They want to select that easy button instead of actually putting in the time to learn how to value the properties, which is the most important skill that you can learn. If you don't ground your numbers in reality, you're going to overpay and then you will struggle to make a profit at all. Mistake number 6, buying off price alone. You're at an auction and you see a property come up for $100. Nobody bids. So then suddenly you decide, why not? I'll buy it. It's $100. Well, guess what? Cheap does not mean good. You just spent $100 on a water retention area, a sliver useless piece of land, or worse, maybe it's a house on the demolition list. And then a week later, the county goes over there and they demolish that house and they send you the demolition bill. You don't pay it, so they send it to their debt collector attorney, who eventually takes you to court. You fail to show up at court, they get a default judgment and begin garnishing your wages. Sure, that's a little bit extreme, but you can see what happens when you just impulse buy properties at a tax sale auction. I have seen that exact situation play out before. Yes, it's rare, yes, but it does take place. All because you bought something because you thought it was cheap. Don't buy off price alone. Mistake number 7, not having an exit plan. Do you plan to hold a property long term? Do you plan to rent it? Do you plan to flip it? Do you plan to sell it with a realtor? Maybe refinance it, maybe quick flip it. Whatever you want to do, you need to know exactly how you'll be marketing and selling that property prior to buying it. If you can't answer that before you bid, you are guessing. You should know that exit strategy up front. For example, if you plan to sell that property and you want to list it with a realtor, you had better make sure there's room for their commission, closing fees, title clearing, and other related fees. If you do not budget that from the get-go, you will quickly blow through your profit. Guessing on how you're going to sell something instead of having an actual plan you follow is a very fast way to lose money. So let's recap. Some of the most expensive mistakes that I see tax investors make: surface level research, ego bidding, no strategy, ignoring title issues, overestimating property value, buying off price alone, and not having an exit plan. If you avoid those, you're going to save yourself a lot of headache, a lot of time, and a lot of money over the course of your tax sale career. That's all I got for today. I truly hope this episode has helped you out. If it did, please do me a huge favor. If you're listening to us on a podcasting platform, please leave us a 5-star review and maybe even take a few seconds out of your day to leave a positive feedback comment for us. It really means a lot in the podcasting algorithm world. And if you're watching us on YouTube, do me a favor and click that thumbs up button and subscribe to our channel. And if you are looking to learn more about investing in tax defaulted real estate, make sure you check out Tax Sale Playbook, which is yours free if you cover the nominal shipping cost of less than $5. You get a copy and I'll ship it to you. All you got to do is go to taxsalebook.com. Hey, take care, folks. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you next time right here on the Tax Sale Podcast. Bye-bye.